Alrighty guys, thank you very much for joining me. I am Jason, and I will be setting up this camera as soon as humanly possible. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Just about ready to go here. We do have the draft beginning, so I don't want to deny you that, guys. There we go. And right away, Malf and the Nova equals Zarya ban here. These guys are already throwing math at me here. But thanks for joining me, guys. Division 1, Adults with Jobs versus Envenom here on Cursed Hollow. Should be a pretty fun match. Muradin is going to come out right away from Adults with Jobs, so not being shy about picking up their tank to start this out. Big priority on the bearded wonder known as Muradin. And kind of surprising, actually. We do see that we have seen some slight Muradin nerfs lately, but still, of course, one of the most popular tanks in the game. But I'm a little bamboozled. We usually see a lot of other things prioritized here in Heroes of the Storm recently for that first pick. So right away we're going to see the other bearded wonder as Falstad comes out. Ground Muradin and Air Muradin have been drafted right off the bat, so these guys are starting out dwarf strong. We'll have to see what Envenom wants to, what else they want to pick here. Of course, Falstad, very good on this map. And Muradin is not bad on this map. It just, I'm not sure if he's worth that first draft pick. We'll have to see what Adults with Jobs decide to follow that up with for their 2 before that second ban phase. But like I said, Falstad coming out here, the global presence on a big map like Cursed Hollow is always really important, and they're going to go ahead and pick up Ariel, so they're focusing that sustained healer strategy that can work so well on maps like Cursed Hollow, where you've got those map objectives and it takes forever and a day sometimes to capture those, so they have to be able to win that sustained fight. Malfurion off the board at this point, so Ariel is definitely that next best healer in terms of the overall sense of sustain. Vala and Li Ming coming out here from Adults with Jobs, so right away they're going to be going for those lethal quick fights. It seems like what they're going after here. Muradin can get in there with the lockdown, being able to stun, and just in general be a pain up in that front line zoning. And Vala and Li Ming can both have good solid follow-ups. If you get that one kill, Li Ming will go for those resets, and the burst damage that Li Ming can provide is a very strong counter to Ariel. She provides decent sustained healing, but she can't burst heal as well. The only thing she really has to protect against that kind of burst damage is Aegis at level 10. So Brightwing coming out here for Envenom as the ban. Gonna go ahead and get rid of the only super strong sustained healer really left in that Brightwing. You think of sustained healing, you think Malfurion number 1, Ariel and Brightwing are pretty closely tied at number 2 in those 2 and 3 spots. And Medivh going to be the ban out here from Adults with Jobs. So wanting to make sure that they can't just bring out the last Guardian to go ahead and put those shields up and protect against that burst damage, which I think is pretty smart, pretty good move by them. If they're going to go double support, Medivh wouldn't be a bad option. Plus, all the little walls, all the little nooks and crannies that Medivh can just jump right over on this map, definitely something worth considering being concerned about here. So ETC is going to be the pickup here for Envenom. Could be looking at Stage Dive. We've seen a lot of Stage Dive ETC ever since his rework with the elongated, the automatically elongated slide. They've reworked and put a lot of that kind of stuff into his kit that we'd normally see picked up at 1 and 4, which makes a lot of sense. Blizzard's been doing a nice job with that to give people a little bit more talent options, where they don't feel so pigeonholed into picking those same talents that are just so overpowered compared to the rest of them. However, a lot of people are considering that ETC may have been neutered a little bit by these changes, but we'll have to see what they think of that in terms of the stage dive potential versus the mosh. Thrall coming up here also for Envenom, so building that very tanky front line. Thrall also a very nice hero for denial here on Cursed Hollow. Does a great job of being able to interrupt those casts on the tribute. So they got a good poke comp at this point. They've got ETC in that front line to be able to safely get in and harass and be able to slide out if necessary, but also the ability to lock down somebody if they catch them out. With decent follow-up from Thrall as well as Ariel with that whip. And just good damage in general. So they've left a good solid open comp for them to be able to pick at the end of this process. Meanwhile, 2 picks left here for adults with jobs, and they are milking it for this 4th pick. The clock is on there, but they are going to go with Rhaegar. So Rhaegar can supply some decent sustained healing, but also, of course, the burst healing involved in that ancestral. So options there as far as how they want to throw this healing out. So what is going to be their last pick? They could use a second frontline presence here. I feel like right now Envenom is built to zone them out pretty well. So having another tanky frontliner or just another bruiser in general could do a solid job of being able to protect against that zoning. And there it is. It doesn't get any much tankier or frontlinier than Johanna. So they're going for full-on push potential with Vala and Li Ming as their follow-up. That is an interesting pick. We don't see a whole lot of Muradin Johanna comps. That's one of those things where if Envenom had wanted Johanna, I would have said it was safe to save it for their last pick, because no way they pick it with Muradin, and that is going to proc an instant Tychus pick. Also, those 2 big beefy health pools in the front line, when you have a nice open comp like what Envenom has, how do you not go Tychus in that situation? So I would say definitely Envenom has won this draft in the general sense. I think they've got a stronger healer for the map in Ariel. I think they've got good solid poke and deny potential. Tychus can stall it out for days. Thrall, Falstad. They've got the global presence, which I really, really like. Adults with jobs isn't out of it yet, though, in the draft. I don't think this has been lost in this draft. I think they may have lost the draft in general. I think they've got a slightly weaker comp for it, but they do have the potential to push. They do have the potential to be bullies up in those tribute areas with those 2 big tanky frontliners. Rhaegar should be able to hold them up long enough to be able to push solidly in. The question is, can we see Envenom focus one of these tanks down if they get too overextended, if they get a little bit too aggressive in that push? And that is just that scary frontline push potential. And again, if they can lock somebody down and blow them up, the Li Ming resets could come into play. But all right, it does look like we're loading on into Cursed Hollow. On the left, we do have your blue team, Adults with Jobs. It is going to be Retro Frunk on Li Ming, Gaz on Muradin, Sharku on Johanna, Cheese Chips on Vala, and Nats on Rhaegar. On the right, we have Envenom. Trilobit is going to be on Tychus. Arcandiel on ETC. Delmo on Thrall. Jim on Ariel. And Mike Black will be playing Falstad. And I do like this comp coming out from Envenom. I really, really do. I think they've got enough damage. They've got enough burst damage potential with Falstad to be able to at least be a threat to Adults with Jobs, particularly on that back line. It is going to be a little bit hard to get past Muradin and Johanna, I think, but at some point we're going to see the flanks coming in, I imagine. They've got a very, very good pick potential front line with the CC that they get from ETC and Thrall. So they're eventually going to catch some of these backliners out.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes.
Goat synergy coming out here from Gaz and Retrofunk. And Sharku. In fact, he actually cheese chips will stop spinning. No.
Begins in
Yeah,
10
it is goat time. Definitely on the side of adults with jobs.
5,
It's okay. They can afford them. They got jobs.
3,
Which is, better than most of America, apparently.
let the battle begin.
So both teams electing to go ahead and do their party in the mid. And Mike Black's going to start off that stack gathering pretty strong right away. Going to get a couple of stacks. Oh, blew up the apples, man. Retrofunk, what you doing, man? But we will see both teams going ahead and not really wanting to engage at this point in the match. They just throwing out the spells a little bit, getting a little bit of value. We'll end up cleaning and sending a couple members out to each side. And right away, Dilemma getting a nice exchange there on Gaz. The Dwarf Toss going to come out, but again, Dilemma with those nice steps, getting a little bit of an advantage in this lane. In the top, we got Mike Black and Sharku going back and forth. A little bit of a rotation here from Arcadial. It's going to go down on Cheese Chips, but is going to choose not to slide in and go after that there. I thought Arcadial had an opportunity there, but we are going to see the pause coming out here. Is going to be over on the side of Envenom. Yeah, and I almost wondered what was going on there with ETC. I felt like Arcadial had an opportunity to slide through Cheese Chips and get a good solid opportunity at that. He issued. It's always unfortunate when a good ETC player issues. I'll tell you, that's not what we like to see here in Heroes of the Storm, ladies and gentlemen. all of the cow life. And these guys are pros. They know exactly what they're doing with these pauses and unpauses. Uh-oh. The question is, was Cheese Chips really prepared for that rotation? I think Cheese Chips might have gotten a second life opportunity there, but and here we go. Back into the action. Sharku coming on down to help clear that lane. Cheese Chips is not alone anymore. Tychus is going to get a lot of value here, though. I feel like Trilobit is going to have every opportunity in the world, at least on the stat sheet, if not actually on these shrine fights. Could be having a field day. Arcadial yet again with a very aggressive rotation here. Dilemmo, and they are going to go straight after Muradin, choosing to go after Gaz. I think it's an interesting target for that. They could have also decided to go after Nats there. Rhaegar might be a little bit easier to gank without that Dwarf Toss, but either way, keeping them honest, keeping those rotations strong. You always want to keep the enemy team on their toes. Can't make it too easy for them to sit back and farm in these lanes. You have the first tribute spawning in that bottom lane. So let's see this first one. A little bit of a positional advantage for the side of adults with jobs, or for the side of Envenom. But also, quality pickups by both teams there. Be able to get that siege camp. But that advantage will go over to adults with jobs, not having to well, they are leaving Falstad up in that top to go ahead and clear. With that global presence, they could poke this out for days and have Falstad come down whenever he's good and ready to do so. But here comes adults with jobs with that big front line pushing in deep. Nat's taking a lot of damage on the backside, though. Rhaegar getting punished for going in that deep. Is actually going to try and cast here, but Mike Black has something to say about that, as we do see Falstad with the fly down, and right away we see Envenom going in deep here. Murden's going to be the first casualty in this fight. Jim doing a nice job keeping the team alive and keeping those resets from coming into play. Arcadiel's going to have to back up, but they are going to win this first exchange, and they do also get some nice solid value on that bottom front wall from that siege camp. Meanwhile, the top one, siege camp's still working on trying to clear out there. So Falstad is going to be able to make it up in time to at least answer to this before it gets too much value. Arcadiel doing a nice job pushing and getting a little bit of that wave killed by the wall before we see the rotation from Adults with Jobs. So both teams doing a nice job of getting around, getting the soak back on here. About a half level lead here for Envenom, but you could probably attribute that mostly to the 2 kills on that exchange. Very nice rotation from the side of Envenom, doing a nice job of not rotating Falstad too early, and just in general doing a nice job of getting back out to lane as soon as possible once they won that. Not sticking around too long. We'll see a second one spawning here in the bottom. Yet again, positional advantage here for Envenom. Adults with Jobs a little bit late on that rotation to capture that bruiser camp, and it does look like they're going to give it up completely here, as level 7 has been achieved from Envenom, and Adults with Jobs has not quite been able to pick it up yet, so no reason to come give up more lives and more kills here, as Dilemma just barely missing that Wolves going after Cheese Chips there. But we do see eventually the camp will be picked up and cleaned up summarily in the mid here by Adults with Jobs, so they will have something to say about this third tribute for sure. Missing that hungering arrow there from Cheese Chips just by a tad. Hair outside there. But, we'll be able to push that in a little bit, putting more pressure here on Trial a bit in the mid. Meanwhile, in the bottom, we got the 3-man rotation that's going to completely clean up that front wall in the bottom lane. The third tribute should be spawning in the top, so not going to be too much of a worry down here for that. Oh, Cheese Chips is caught out though. Here comes the very strong rotation here from Envenom. Cheese Chips is going to just barely make it out of here, but the rotation up through this, he's going to be caught out by Jim, and Arcadio could have gone up and around to try and get back to Retro Funk and Nats, but chooses a little bit of a greedy rotation to try and get back to the team, and that pick is going to be a big deal here. This is Curse Point for the side of Envenom, and they are going to go ahead and start to zone out. Sharkadoo getting in there, getting the flashlight out at least to interrupt Jim, but Tychus will be the first to fall here. Nice response here from Adults with Jobs, evening this out at a 4-4 exchange. The resets are coming into play, but Li Ming is going to be the next casualty, getting in there a little bit too deep with that Calamity build, and a nice response and punish there from Envenom. They're going to take that and turn it into a 4-for-1. And that is also going to win them the curse here, as they're going to full-on rotate. And we're seeing the Sundering coming out, but the Wolf does miss from Cheese Chips. He's going to be able to barely get out of that situation. Just that slight Wolf misstep there. But we will see Trilobit is back, is going to start pressuring this mid. Arcadiel with the rotation, going to instantly take out that wall to get out of the way. In fact, was not Muradin, but the bottom fort, ladies and gentlemen, as we see that UI issue continuing to be a thing, unfortunately. But 2 forts secured here, so nice rotations from Envenom, making sure to get some solid value out of this curse. They're going to go ahead and back off at this point, it looks like, and just go straight to their boss, as not a whole lot more value they're going to be able to get out of this. But nice rotations also from Adults with Jobs, doing a nice job of defending their structures in general. Going to be able to pick up level 10 here, so still almost a 2-level lead though at this point for Envenom. Of course, when these lanes get pushed out, it'll probably be more like a level or so. But this boss pickup will also be nice. Will also allow them to instantly rotate on down to the enemy boss. So Envenom playing it just right at this point, doing a very nice job of just playing the map to the way you're supposed to play it, just taking advantage where you can, when you can. So we will see the rotation up here for Adults with Jobs, picking up that siege camp, which will help them take out that boss a little bit too. It's always nice to have those siege camps for the extra DPS to be able to take down that boss up in your lane when the enemy captures it. Meanwhile, the capture on the bottom. So it does look like they're going to rotate to try and help this one. They're going to go ahead and start clearing this lane out. Try a little bit, trying to get a little bit of vision out for his team to see where they are. But rotation from Volstad here. Mike Black is going to go ahead and get this mid fort as well. And this bottom keep front wall is already gone at this point. Softened up nicely. His gas taking a lot of damage there in the middle of that fight. Retro Funk doing a nice job of throwing out those orbs and at least trying to apply some counter pressure here. We are seeing Envenom not willing to go in hard on this fight. Arcadio looking for that mosh pit. Did indeed take mosh, but nice defense there from Adults with Jobs. Doing some nice zoning. It does look like they're going to look to... well, actually, they're going to back off. They were originally looking at maybe trying to invade there, but without those 13s, a very smart retreat and a very smart patient move there from Adults with Jobs. Much easier at this stage in the game to clean up a camp than it would be to clean up your team after a team wipe from being down that tier town. Meanwhile, we do see the rotation coming in here from Adults with Jobs, doing a nice job of Envenom, doing a nice job of murking here, getting both of these camps as that tribute spawns. We do see that ETC will be able to cap this one for free, as right now Adults with Jobs is interested in rotating around and picking up all the XP that they can safely get before they hit that 13 talent. But Envenom is still applying the pressure here. Doing a great job of murking, doing an excellent job of just sticking together and not creating a dire situation for themselves, getting somebody caught out or easily rotated on. And both these teams playing at a pretty high level this match. Doing a nice job of just not making any of those classic mistakes that we see teams make. But just being very patient. This is Cursed Hollow is a patience map. But eventually we are going to have to see Adults with Jobs risking something. They have not won a single curse yet. They're still looking for this level 13, and you can see they're hungry for it. There it is. Probably take just a second to pick these up, and I expect to see them push in here. This is an extremely aggressive rotation here from Envenom, staying in here after this 13. We see the combos coming down. They are after Dilemma, but a nice Aegis coming down to be able to save him, and the turn is coming. Rhaegar will be the first to fall, getting caught way out in the middle of that team fight. Johanna also going down. So we did finally see Adults with Jobs getting aggressive and going after some picks there, but Vala going to be completely blown up by that Sunder. And it did cost them, ultimately, seeing Rhaegar get a little bit too far out in the middle of that team fight, doing Rhaegar things, focusing really hard on Dilemma, and still Retro Funk looking for that kill, but they were never able to get the reset. Jim doing a nice job of keeping the team alive, keeping them topped up enough to be able to stay in and get those picks, and just turn the fight their way. Now they're level 16. Now they've got the talent advantage for an entire 2 levels that Adults with Jobs are going to have to try to grind out here. It's going to be a rough one. At this point, Curse Point coming up here for Envenom on this next tribute. Bottom keep is completely gone. The mid keep is sneezable, and things are looking pretty rough for Adults with Jobs at this phase in the game. Gotta wonder if that was their last real opportunity there for a comeback. So they're going to continue to rotate around, and nice invade here by Envenom to go ahead and take this camp. Really the only part of the map they hadn't painted red just yet. So they go ahead and do that. They'll drop back and be able to get this tribute fairly easy. I don't expect Adults with Jobs to contest them here, but they may. Oh, but here comes the rotation to this mid keep. They're going to go ahead and take the free keep here. And Mike Black is going to be just barely interrupted here, but is going to be able to get away. We are going to see the tribute at least picked up here by... Oh, but the gust! The zoning gust is going to barely come out here. And we do see them split, but Arcadio will get that mosh interrupted. Only a partial interruption, so still has it. Vala is going to be the first to be blown up on the back end by Mike Black, however. Nat's also getting very low. And they feel like they had to go go after someone there. They had to try to do what they could to do that. But the flyover from Mike Black here, going to continue to put pressure on Nats. Going to throw out that Ancestral before dying to at least get Gaz out of there. But that is a 4 for nothing. Envenom picking up the curse, and that is it. Team Captain Retro Funk already calling out the GG. Envenom with a very impressive game here. They took every advantage. They did a great job of being able to apply pressure on the map wherever they were, wherever they could, and that turned into a pretty solid win for them. It never felt like they were really on the back foot at all in this game. They just put their foot down on the gas pedal and never really let up.
Red team.
Always got to pad those stats, Cheese Chips. That's very important, man. It's something that people got to do. But yeah, 14-1, just dominating there for Envenom. Quick look at the talents. Nothing too surprising, you know, mostly going with the hammer build there. Searing Light coming out from Jim. Very interesting to be able to get the extra damage in there on those fights for Searing Light. Don't see that one picked up a whole lot, but also Heavy Burden. Gonna go ahead and get the stuns out and the extra slow when they hit against that wall. So that's really nice. Also Bursting Light. So very unique talent build here for Jim. I think a build that lends itself to the concept of playing ahead. So I think they were planning that all along. Very standard build from Thrall. Block Party coming out to get the extra block, which I really like on a map like this where you need all that sustained, and on those tribute fights, Speed Metal for the extra movement speed. Echo Pedal coming out for the extra mercenary damage, which is really nice. Mosh Pit didn't get a whole lot of value throughout the match, but we did see that final Li Ming kill totally picked up by that Mosh. But it's the presence. It's the presence that Mosh gives, I think, a lot of the time. That's really the value there. Pretty standard, full wolf build coming out from Nats. Cheese Chips going with the ranker stuff, but also a little bit of AOE build there as well. So a little bit of a combo. Pretty standard builds by both the tanks there. I just felt like they didn't have enough damage. They didn't have enough to really be able to get in there and get that first kill. Be able to set up for Retrofunk. Muradin and Johanna, not exactly the highest damaging heroes in the game, and the numbers do reflect it there. And they just weren't able to push those fights enough. They pushed in deep. They were able to have that presence in the front line, but they just didn't have the damage to be able to get those resets for Retrofunk often enough. And only one reset all match for that matter. So it was just kind of a rough go of it. They didn't have the healer to really be able to sustain in those. Rhaegar is a very strong burst healer, but ultimately when you got Ariel already picked up, Malfurion and Brightwing banned, that's just rough. They didn't prioritize picking up a healer early in the draft. Did Adults with Jobs. They went with that Li Ming and Vala priority to get them early, along with that first Muradin pick. So they could have maybe picked up still a Brightwing, something to sustain a little bit better. But ultimately, we did see the aggressive burst damage potential from Envenom. Also, that Tychus was the last pick, so without that double tanky front line, probably wouldn't have gone Tychus. Could have gone something with a little bit more burst damage, though Tychus lately has been showing us a lot of burst damage potential as well. So that is going to be it for me, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Congratulations to both of these teams. Envenom picking up a big win here in Division 1. And I will see you guys later. Have a great night, guys.